We talking about hip hop, controversies, who got beef, no monster burger. You talking about it, we talking about it. Who am I? I'm just a monster worker. Hip hop as a
Okay, so the new era of hip hop is changing like dramatically. You got Macklemore winning the Grammy as an indie artist. Then you got Tech Nine, on the Hip Hop Cash Kings last year. I think he was number 19 for bringing in what?
7.5.
7.5 million.
What, for the year?
For the year,
Oh, wow.
as an indie artist.
Oh wow!
So
they didn't even get radio play.
I know, no radio play.
Crazy.
Wow.
I mean, so what do you guys think, like, as a hip hop fans right now? Is it better to sign with the label, or is it better to just go as an indie artist?
I think it depends on a lot of things. It depends on how big your buzz is alone. If you can generate a fan base, then like sure, I think it's smart to go the indie route because then you don't have to recoup anything to some huge label that's gonna put out your first album and your first few videos or whatever. But I feel like it's a genre thing. Like hip hop has the channels to get famous or get noticed without a lot of marketing, or big money marketing. Like you got Rap Radar, you got Wrap Up, you got all these blog sites that are gonna basically tell you who's coming up without you having to be known. I mean,
you don't need the old school media.
Not at
Hip
all.
hop is one of the genres that everyone's always looking for someone new.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Always.
I definitely agree.
I would have said 5-10 years ago, a new artist should sign with a major, whereas an established artist could, go the indie route because of their name. But now the internet's kind of leveled the playing field.
Yeah.
Like Kelly said, it just depends on the artist, because if they can get enough groundswell support, then they don't. If it decides between 200,000 records sold as an indie artist versus 400,000 on a major, you're better off with those 200,000 because you get a much bigger piece of the pie.
Yeah, you're gonna get 100%.
Well, let's take a look at like E40 and like Too Short, who've been doing this for years. Like Lil Jon, before even signing, they were indie, like making their own money and showing people how to do this.
Yeah, and it's kind of going back to that,
It is going back to that. But I was looking at some numbers though. I was getting my Jared on. And so Tech Nine and E40 worth $8 million, like net worth. Their net worth is $8 million. But you look at J. Cole and Big Sean, who are signed, have endorsements, got the backing, and they're worth like $5 million like each already. And they've only been in the game for 4 years. Where compared to these guys working on like 20 years in the game.
That's true.
And you know what? Like I looked at a little short little documentary of Tech Nine, and it was one of his business partners, and he was showing like he was calculating all of the funds like they take in from every year from the merchandise and the music sales, the touring, the sponsorships. Like they bought their own like tour buses, for the merchandise.
Wow.
So for every tour they get like 1.7 million sold in merchandise, and that's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, so there was a recent interview with Steve Staff, the documentary of the Tanner of America. We talked about that last week. So he was in this interview and he listed the 5 most influential artists. Diddy was one of them. Jay-Z, Dr. Dre. He listed Pharrell and who else? And Kanye West. What do you think about this list?
I mean, it's not Angie Martinez's fault, but she put him on the spot, and he had to come up with like 5 people immediately. So I mean, he was kind of like searching and like scrambling for people.
It was off the top of the head.
Yeah, exactly. Like Pharrell shouldn't have been there, and then he kind of like switched up his criteria right in the middle of his speech. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Oh, well, look at Dre doing beats," and then we're like, "Well, how come 50 isn't on the list?" Well, 50 hasn't put out music.
Yeah.
So it's just like. You just switched up your whole criteria of who you're putting on the list, like right there in an instant. So
who should be? Who should be on the list though? I mean, because definitely I think all 4 except Pharrell should be on the list.
Yeah.
Only because everybody was like they've been in the hip hop cash Kings for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So they definitely.
Well, they're the leading tastemakers too.
Right.
The genre.
I mean, you listen to everything that they say.
Yeah.
Dre made headphones, and then everyone had to have those headphones.
Exactly.
That's not even hip hop.
Kanye puts out shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's got to have it.
Shoes. I mean, Jay-Z made a label that every other label kind of envied.
And had Samsung buy million.
Yeah, I mean.
And that's just the latest of Jay-Z.
Yeah, it created a whole brand worth listening to.
Exactly.
But I mean, if there's got to be 5, I think number 5 is Lil Wayne.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
I want one higher, and I don't like him, and I do not agree with his business, but I said Birdman. because he's worth that much, and because he's put Lil Wayne in a position to be, where he is. And he put on Drake and he put on Nicki Minaj. And you can say what you want about him, but at the end of the day, he's still running the Cash Money ship.
The only reason why I wouldn't say Birdman is because when you talk about influential, like who do you see influence, like as a culture?
But he's put people in position to influence them.
Even though he has the power to put people in positions.
I can't believe I'm defending Birdman, but
it's a legit argument.
Yeah, it's a legit argument. Even though he has the power to, put people in these certain positions, like if he were Pumas on stage one day,
it's nothing.
Right, is the world gonna like,
nothing.
Birdman got Pumas on. Are they gonna go to the store and get Pumas?
No.
The argument is like, you said like you put Birdman, you call Birdman influential, but it's like we don't call Congress influential, we call the president influential.
That's
you know
fair.
what I'm saying? Because he's like the figurehead of it,
Right,
and
exactly.
people like writing the laws and stuff like that. So
Definitely.
I definitely understand your argument where you're coming from, but I would say just as far as like being the figurehead, as far as like being the
Because it's Lil Wayne is the face of Cash Money.
It is.
Birdman's behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And I would-
Exactly.
I honestly argue that Birdman without Lil Wayne wouldn't be where he is.
That's true.
No, he's not.
Like,
Well, they both needed each
They like
other.
They definitely needed each other, but I feel like because Wayne is the talent, like someone would have found Wayne.
Yeah.
That's true.
Whereas like Birdman was smart enough to see the potential in him.
Yeah.
and keep
But
investing in it.
exactly, and build his brand with him.
Yeah.
A lot of people argue that Nicki Minaj should be on the list. What about
No,
Nicki
because
Minaj?
she's too far under. You gotta put, Lil Wayne above her. I would
Exactly,
say.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Nicki has the potential to get there for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I respect everything that she's doing. Her hustle's incredible. She's been able to make money for more than just rap, which is like how you stay in the game. We've learned.
That's true.
So yeah, I mean, I can see her getting there, but she's
Yeah.
not there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, she's new. Like,
She's also-
she's
yeah,
up
I
there.
can- yeah, I
I've
can-
been in the
Everyone,
game.
yeah, everyone on that list has been,
Like, these
in
are
it for
veterans.
15
Yeah,
years.
15 years plus, yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as doing 50 dirty though, he did 50 grinding on that list by just omitting him.
Yeah, that was weird because it's like
Saying
you
that,
get because Dre hasn't made music either.
exactly.
Well, I mean,
We don't care what.
but Dre hasn't made music, but he's still relevant with the headphones.
That's true.
And I think he was saying about being influential, you have to be at least relevant. And 50 hasn't released any singles. Like his last single was what? Big single was "I Get Money." That's what he was saying.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as like vitamin water, like who's doing shit like that? As far
No,
as 50 Cent
that's
has his own headphone company
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
It's like
that's
Fuck
nice.
Beats, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna go with my own headphone company. He got the energy shots.
He's got the website. This is 50.
This is 50 is crazy. Like that's like one of the main places people go to.
But I think, because he is on like, okay, he got the vitamin water, he got the 50, but 50 is not really forefront in the mainstream media. Like
That's true.
but people don't talk about 50,
That's true.
But he's got
And I feel like when people see 50, they look at 50 as just a big bully. They don't really look at 50 as somebody who's influential.
Well, that's true.
That's
And that's been his problem since
Yeah.
musically he started going downhill. It's because he
Right.
burned a lot of bridges.
Yeah.
And not necessarily in business, but for music. And in doing that, that's kind of why people are happy to see him fail.
Now, I read a great article on CNN. It was an R&B article, and basically they was saying that R&B is not the same like it used to be. They actually said that the music changed because blacks lost something essential: the appreciation of love. So, what do you think about the death of R&B,
Who
and
wrote that?
is it coming back? You know what? I didn't get the author, but I mean, I agree. I kind of agree with it.
Blacks lost the
That's
appreciation of
intense.
love.
Yeah.
I can't even really comment on whether or not I think black people have lost an appreciation for love. I think maybe how black people love is different than it was maybe back in the day.
Well, yeah, the article was based on, they were saying that like blacks lost appreciation of love because less married couples stay together, more divorce rates, so
Wow.
kids that's coming up now, they don't know what love is only because it's a single parent in a home.
That's new in the black
Yeah,
community.
exactly.
I think it's just, sound change and like one of the, when you put the question up, one of the commenters had a really good point saying the R. Kelly style ended up just kind of taking over and everyone wanted to be like really hip hop infused. And then two, when Usher came back and made Here I Stand, and you can't call a 2 million album selling album a failure, but it didn't live up to Confessions. I think that kind of signaled the end of how we viewed popular R&B.
Yeah.
Because since then he's moved away from it.
Exactly. He's so much of a figure that like people are like, all right, singers are like, all right, I want to hear what Usher's gonna come out with.
Exactly.
So I
But-
try to get like this. And then he comes out with some shit like that, and it's like, oh, I gotta sound like this now. And then I see that maybe the same thing that what's happening with EDM right now is that it's becoming pop. So like everything Usher comes out with now is pop. Like
Fancy.
so it's something that we could, you know.
But
Because his music
not
now is
R&B.
completely different
Yeah.
from like 8701
It's
or like
not R&B though.
No.
It's pop music. It's not even pop R&B. It's like really just, it's like kind of
Yeah.
pure pop at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, it's pop.
But I would say that like it's like losing Usher hurt, but it's money I think is what happened, not so much a lack of love in black families.
Yeah.
But that seems heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, like we got to a point where I don't know, like the big R&B artists like R. Kelly, like one R. Kelly, like faded away after Trapped in the Closet because we all got kind of suspect of what he was trying to do. But I mean, he's still good. Like I wouldn't say R&B is dead. I would say that R&B is not promoted the same way it used to be. Like R&B used to be a popular thing. It used to be, I don't know, there were like different, there were subgenres within
I mean, there
R&B.
still is too.
Yeah, there definitely still is. It's just like we don't get to hear them unless you're listening to an R&B station and like a specific R&B station. And even a lot of R&B stations, especially in the LA area, will throw in like, you know.
Oh, it's no R&B out here.
I don't think
Well, we got KJLA.
Yeah.
But KJ, I mean, I'm from the South.
Yeah.
What KJLA's play is not like that true R&B. They play R&B.
Right.
They don't play the right.
Well, I don't think there's been enough of a push to. I mean, because there's good, like Frank Ocean,
Exactly.
The Weeknd, you know, Miguel.
Chris Brown. Let's not act like
He's pop.
He's
pop now.
He's pop now.
He's pop
But-
now.
But I think
Yeah.
I think there's just, and they're all making great music, but it's just there's just not much of a push.
There's no push.
And even Frank Ocean almost winning album of the year, he still barely goes gold.
Yeah.
Whereas 10 years ago, he would have sold 5 million records
Yeah.
easy with that
So-
channel.
I mean, but who's the face of R&B right now, though? Who would you call the face?
Beyonce.
Yeah, it's Justin and Robin Thicke.
No.
That's the face of R&B.
No, Robin Thicke had one song.
Yeah, he had one
So,
song.
like,
No,
that's the
his
thing.
album was
No,
dope.
no, check it out.
I
Check it out.
don't know who. I'll be honest. I don't know who.
I say Beyonce.
I said
Robin
Beyonce.
Thicke
I
has
heard
been
this
doing
was
R&B,
Beyonce.
like real R&B for years.
Yeah.
For years. And then as soon as he did Blurred Lines, it got super popular.
Yeah.
And people were like,
Which is an R&B song.
No, it's not.
It's pop.
It's
It's borderline.
It's funky.
It's an R&B pop song.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Definitely, the sample brings the soul for
Yeah.
sure. Or sample, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's in court right now.
The gay family.
But yeah, I mean, we got mad at him for like finally getting popular, but he's been putting out like some real sensual baby making music
it's
for
an album,
Yeah.
but we haven't even been talking like I'm saying. If you listen to Chris Brown's album, his whole album doesn't sound dancey and poppy. There's R&B songs on there.
Definitely.
Just like Neo's album, like there are R&B songs on the album.
And you know, I go back to what you were saying, Kelly, because that makes sense. I just think that they don't have the money to push R&B, and like, or they do have the money, but they just not pushing.
They don't care to.
Record labels are not pushing R&B.
Yeah.
And I also think I blame like urban program directors because they don't play true R&B. They want R&B to have rap on it.
There's every.
Hey, I'm D Keys, aka DK.